All right, perfect. Okay, so just to recap that first question, if you have some more you'd like to include, we're going to do that. But just to recap for the recording, it was mentioned for question number one that you should have a professional resume ready. Also, the resources, to make sure you have, as far as resources, your advisors, and then the resources. Anything else anyone wants to add to this first question?
I can also speak on that. So I think it's important to find the group that you are, potentially interested in, like a club, or, to find people that have same passion as you. So for me, I did student government in Kenyatta College, so I continue student government at UCLA, and then it's just because since you're like already familiar with the area, you're gonna find it much more easier to make the transition, and then through that you can meet a lot of people who are also have the same passion as you, and then so before you get on campus, you already have like a group of people that you can talk to and that you can trust. So try to do that. I know it's harder with like the current situation since you can't meet the people, but it's still possible.
Okay, awesome, excellent, excellent.
Additionally, from a mental health perspective, I think it's really, really important that everyone take some time to take a break during the summer because, oh my God, I know you've all worked so hard to get to where you are. I was so burnt out the summer of my transfer, and you have a tough road ahead of you. It's going to be challenging. And so just like recharge because you're going to need it.
Finally, someone put that out there. Thank you. Anything else pertaining to that first question? Anything that the students should be doing over the summer prior to stepping foot on campus?
Just to add on to what Johnny said, I think one of the ways that you can communicate with people that you might not know is during orientation. I know during orientation, you really figure out who's in similar majors as you. So keeping in contact with them during the summer can be really beneficial, especially if you don't really know how to do something or how to sign up for classes, that, knowing someone that's in the same major as you can really help you out. And I definitely agree with Delilah too. Make sure you use this time to really relax because it does get very stressful.
Okay, perfect. And since you mentioned the orientation, that's question number two. Was attending the student orientation beneficial for you?
For me in particular, yes, even though it was technically a requirement, I found it very beneficial because I actually met up with my advisor. So we got like a general orientation, and then I was able to meet with my advisor one-on-one. And I actually showed him what classes I was planning on taking. So he really helped me out and said, no, don't take this class. Because at the end of the day, I didn't have any idea what I was doing or what classes I should be taking or anything like that. And I was also able to ask him questions about what clubs I should join. So I found it very informational.
Anyone else?
So yeah. I guess I can add to both number one and number two. First of all, one of the things that I'd recommend you do is actually look into your courses, look into the professors, have a clear idea of what you want to do for your first semester. I didn't do any of that. I was lucky enough that for me, orientation was also mandatory. So when I was there, I actually met a student in my group who had done all the research. And I kind of was talking to her, and she told me, oh yeah, this professor's really good. You should take this class and stuff like that. And just like Julissa, for me, orientation was mandatory, but the way that it was beneficial because, first of all, yeah, you meet people that are also in the same major, because Sacramento State does orientation just by each major. And then you get a tour of the campus, which is also very important because you need to know where your classes are going to be. That way you're not found on the first week of school, running around, oh, where's my next class, where do I got to go? And then at the end of orientation, we met with the advisors and we set up our classes for the next semester. They also taught us how to enroll in those courses. Sacramento State has, I don't know how the other campuses work, but Sacramento State has their own little online thing where you type in what classes you want to take, and it kind of builds a schedule for you, which is really neat. But yeah, I totally recommend going to it and try to get the earliest date possible. Just because if it works, if all the other campuses work the same, then you're going to be enrolling into courses. So the later you go to orientation, the less likely you are to get the classes you need.
Oh, you know what? Just real quick, something that we should have did from the beginning. Can our panelists introduce themselves, your name, your major, and the campus you're attending? I'm sorry about that. This is my first formal, you know, panel. So go ahead. Delilah, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I would love to. As he said, I'm Delilah. I'm at UCSD right now, and I am a bioengineering major in the Jacobs School of Engineering.
Okay. Go ahead, Pedro.
So my name's Pedro. I'm a civil engineering student at Sacramento State.
All right. The San Jose State. Who's at San Jose State?
Hi, my name is Julissa. I'm a civil engineering student and I'm at San Jose State University.
Okay, so we have the two Berkeley students.
Hello. Oh, hi, I'm Tamarek. I'm a business major at UC Berkeley.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm a psychology major at UC Berkeley.
And then we have someone at Menlo.
Hi, I'm Kim. I'm a psych major at Menlo. Yeah.
And we have UCLA.
Hi, my name is Zhu Yi, aka Johnny. This what's that called? Business economics major at UCLA. Also international student from China.
All right, thank you. And did I miss anyone? Let me see. No, that's it. Okay. So anything else that we'd like to add to the orientation or the benefits of the orientation?
I would just add
Sorry.
like the biggest impact that had on me, I guess, would just be like meeting people outside of a major. All the people in my orientation group were transfer students, so it was like really cool. We all had pretty much like the similar like community college experiences, but in terms of meeting people outside of a major, that was like a big help.
Okay, awesome. Excellent. Chelsea, were you going to comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when I was going to orientation, I think because I'm an older student, I'm gonna be 26 this year, I was kind of thinking like orientation wasn't gonna be that great for me and I might be an older student compared to everybody else. And I just wanna like dispel that if other people have that same thinking, because I ended up making like really good friends, people I'm still talking to and who've helped me so much, like with classes and like where to find stuff and just hanging out. And I got a lot out of it, and it kind of, you feel a little lame and you don't feel super comfortable yet on campus, and you're like, it's hard to claim the spirit of the school because you're new, but I want to encourage you to just like try it and feel like you really are a new student at that campus, and you're allowed to be feeling the same amount of pride as somebody who's been there for 2 years. And it's not lame, it's really fun, and everybody is like feeling geeky and weird and like nervous because we're all new. So just like do it together and have fun.
Cool. Anything else? Anyone else?
Just to add on, definitely go. Like for me, it was an option because I was a transfer student, so orientation wasn't really like mandatory for me. But definitely go. I went to both orientation and then we had like a transfer student like day, so I went to both. And I was able to meet with like a whole bunch of people that live on campus and live off campus. Like you just meet everyone. I got to meet professors as well, and I happened to meet the head of the department of the psych. So it was interesting, and he also happened to be my professor. So that like definitely pulled in some plugs when it came to like extensions and stuff. So go.
Okay, awesome. Also for you guys in attendance, if you guys can type me a question as well. I turned on the chat, but the chat goes only to me. So if you want to type in your question, I can ask that question on your behalf. Next question that we have on the list is, what is the first thing you should do during the first week of campus? Or, yeah, during the first week of school, first week of campus.
I would say like I feel like the first week is definitely the easiest. So I would take advantage of that for sure, only because like after that first week, it really gets really tough. So it's worth taking that first week to like relax, still stay on your schoolwork. There's not gonna be that much of it, and just like get accustomed to the campus, like learn where things are, and like build the like those relationships as strong as you can in that first week, so that like throughout the semester you can just text somebody and then get help on whatever you need help with, or just hang out with people throughout the semester. But yeah.
Okay, okay. Anyone else?
To add on with that, I definitely think getting used to, for me, it was kind of figuring out where I was going to study. So whether the library was a good choice and what floor, and getting used to, I kind of went around the engineering building and I found a lot of flyers too, because I feel like, at a university, they kind of leave you on your own to really figure things out. So I kind of just walked around and I saw a bunch of flyers on paper like, oh, join this club, join this, do this. So I found that very beneficial. So especially take use of that time that you have, you don't have to worry about doing your homework and just walk around campus and see where everything's at and where you can find a really good setting place and things like that.
Okay.
I second that 100%. Get yourself oriented, find out where you're going to eat, find out where the restrooms are, find out where you're going to study, and like just get yourself comfortable because you're going to need to be comfortable.
Cool, cool. All right, so we have a question from one of the students who will be transferring. It says, what do you recommend we should do to get involved in the research opportunities, networking, career, and job opportunities?
Go to the librarians. Like, they're your best friends. For me, I think I've spent most of my time in the library with librarians, so like they're like my best friends now. And go to the career center, definitely.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and then going off of like the career center, pretty much like most universities that I've like talked to my friends about, they all use this website, including Berkeley. This website called Handshake, which basically like all the jobs pretty much post like internships, summer internships, and full-time opportunities there. That's how I got my internship for next summer or this coming summer. So yeah, that's like a really good resource for like different postings for internships. And then what someone mentioned earlier about the what Chelsea said earlier about the resumes and the cover letters. Make sure you have those like ready as much as possible.
So Handshake, can you explain a little bit of that? Is it like Tinder or something like that?
Right. So Handshake is basically like, I guess we call it like LinkedIn or Facebook, but just like companies are posting their listings, like the job description, the qualifications, etc. And then you just click on a link to say apply. You apply to it, upload your resume, and then someone will get back to you and like scheduling an interview if they like your resume cover letter. But the school, it's like the school, your university should like fund, like pay for the service for you to use.
Oh, so it's a campus resource.
Right. Yeah, you have to log in with like your student credentials and stuff.
Thing.
Oh, so someone on the street just can't jump on it. It has to be.
No.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I was thinking about, okay, let me go check out this Handshake. See if I'm shaking his hands, but okay. That's nice. Well, thanks for putting that out there. So we have another question. Did anyone take any courses over the summer, and is it recommended? That's a good question.
I took classes over the summer before starting my first semester at Menlo. I would recommend it just because it gives you more like room for more classes later on if you want to add. It just, for me, like I want to be out in 2 years. Like my whole thing is like time. So if you're worried about time, then like add in a couple classes over the summer, or like talk to your advisor and see what you can take over the summer, and if they recommend it or not. It's really up to you, but I did.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And then we have a question from the counselor, Sandra.
Hi, everybody. So great to see you. This is what you remember me looking like on this image photo, if you can see it. You want to see me now without a haircut? That's what I look like. So anyway, I'm so happy to see everybody. Oh, so nice to see you guys. I do have a question, especially with two questions I have, but one in particular is the internship that you guys were talking about. I'm wondering how many of you found out or were able to take advantage of the internship opportunities, because my understanding, internship opportunities or interviews happen as early as October. And if you're in a quarter system and you start at the end of September, you're here having to start a new school, a new quarter, and 2-3 weeks later, you're having to go through interviews for internship. How was that experience for you? Did that happen? And how were you still able to take advantage of this opportunity?
I can speak on that one. So for the internships, like you said, a lot of them do start in October. So back to like the taking summer courses, like if you can, I would like recommend taking the summer course, because by the time fall starts, you'll have a GPA at your current at your new unit, like your new school, your university, which helps for like recruiting for internships. Because like, what's your GPA? You don't have a GPA because it's only your fall. But if you do summer, then you have a GPA to start off with. That's one huge benefit of it. But trying to manage everything at once is definitely like an extra like 4 or 5 unit class for sure. And I think at some point I just had to like realize that although it's like really hard to manage everything, if you can, it's like I kind of valued like making sure that I got like I was able to land an internship before like over kind of like stressing over classes as much, just because I knew like I was there for it, like kind of to get a job in the end. And if I can sacrifice an extra hour from studying for like recruiting, it was probably like beneficial, and it did work out like that. It's definitely like time consuming, so just try to make a schedule for yourself and like schedule out your classes and how much time you'll dedicate to the research opportunities or internship opportunities, and then go from there.
Anyone else?
I wanted to say, like, it's hard, especially if I was a spring transfer student. So I even came in like at a weird time because everything had already started. It's the middle of the year. But I've heard a lot of students talk about coming in the spring or in the fall and just feeling like they missed a lot because they're transferred in and everything started before they got there. And I just think that is bound to happen sometimes. And I wish like we talked about it more at Kenyatta before we got there, because I would have been a little bit more prepared to face that, I think, and been okay with it, because there are more things you can do. Like, it's okay to not be able to jump right into an internship or a research position, because there's other things you can do in the meantime. And like, there are some opportunities, I'm trying to say, that you might miss because you're coming in as a transfer student, and that's just like how the system is set up, and it's really, really crappy and it sucks. But like it's okay. Other things we can do like in the meantime.
Yeah, I do want to say, especially Chelsea, you brought out the right platter is given the opportunities, like not knowing what to do to navigate, and maybe Kenyatta should have provided that info or prepared you more. For you, class of 2020, that are present today, I do want to recommend, especially if you're on a 2-year plan, meaning you're only going to be there from the time you start in the fall, you're only going to have that one summer. And if you will be planning to complete your degree and graduate by at the end of your 4th semester there, really, really important to try to get that internship. So right away when you arrive, connect yourself with the Career Center, go speak with a professor or your department's advisor, right? And say, hey, how do I get an internship? What do I need to do? Can you help me with my resume? Because that summer is really, really important. oftentimes that person you get that internship with, you will leave that internship with an offer in your hand. And they usually give you until January to accept that letter. So here in August, you have an offer letter and you still have 6 months to accept, meaning you can still continue and interview for other opportunities. Employers who actively recruit at that campus,
Well,
they want
I'm
you.
not getting any wrong.
What? What happened?
Oh, someone's got someone going on in the background.
Oh, okay, sorry. So just wanted to say, definitely try to see if you can get an internship, because it gives you an opportunity to be more marketable, especially if you're planning to go to work right after your bachelor's and not continue on to graduate school. But even graduate school want to know you have experience in the field, and also if you've gained graduate skills like research, data analysis, and everything. So with that, I want to go for my second question. For those that are on a quarter system, I know Dalila is, I don't know anyone else. I didn't catch everybody's schools, but I am wondering, how was that transition going from a semester at Cañada to quarter system?
Oh man. They warn you. Everyone warned me. I thought I was prepared. I guess the best advice I can give you is be as flexible as possible. Don't sign up for a ton of stuff right away, because the workload, like the first 2 weeks when clubs are starting to like do their stuff, the workload you have then is nothing compared to the workload you're going to have during like week 5 and 6. I'd say it's definitely like very exponential, and the exponential, like the low slope happens between the first like 1 to 2 to like 2.5 weeks, and then you're just like completely busy up until like the very end of week 10. Just take your time in terms of signing up for stuff, and have extra time. Even if you feel like you're not going to need the extra time, have a little extra time, because you might even just need it to take a break.
I can also speak on that. So for me, just like what Delala said, like first week was like I remember, went to my first class and I'm like, oh, like this is what I'm gonna learn. Like this is so easy. And then second week is like, whoa, I thought I was on track. Like it was like the material just grows so much, and then it became like so much more difficult like after the first week. And yeah, and like right now we're in our third quarter, like we're entering week 7, I think, if that's correct. And then usually you have a midterm it depends on the class, but usually it's week 4 and like week 7 or week 8. So like 2 midterms, or some classes only have like 1 midterm, which are like, week 5, week 6. But yeah, I think the best way to prepare for this is like find a person that you can trust on campus, like find a mentor. So with all those, find a mentor who, potentially shares the same passion as you. So all the stuff that you're experiencing right now, they've already experienced. And, whenever you need help, just reach out to them.
And just to add to that, it's really, really important that you study as you go in the quarter system, because you do not have the time to catch up later on, because there's new content, and all that new content branches off the old content. And like, yes, study as you go.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Check, see if I have any questions from the gallery. Oh, how should I meet new people since my orientation is online? Uh-oh.
I would say a lot of campuses have social media accounts, and you can like look up people kind of. Like it sounds creepy, but like that's how everybody's doing it now. I know I have a couple people that I didn't really talk to during class, but now it's like I'm direct messaging them through like Instagram, because we found each other through the Menlo. Instagram account.
Another way you can do it is a lot of campuses or like a lot of campuses have transfer pages. So you can join on Facebook. So you can join those, and then it's like people are just like introducing themselves and they're talking about like their interests in it and everything. You just like comment on their pictures and then follow them or add them on Facebook, whatever, and build a relationship that way. And I'm guessing people will get creative and probably try to do like Zoom calls and stuff as school gets closer, because everyone's really nervous about everything, and I'm sure everyone wants friends and everything. So, and it'll work out.
UCSD is really big with Facebook. So if you Google like UCSD Computer Science Club, UCSD anything on Facebook, you'll probably find a group and you can just add yourself.
All right. Okay. Anything to add to that question? Got another question that came in. How do you feel your campus handled the transition to online instruction? And what tips for success do you have to do well in the university online courses?
So speaking from my own personal experience, I thought it was for professors, not only for students, but I thought it was really hard for them to make the transition. Some of my professors weren't really good with technology. And so some of them had problems with Zoom. Sometimes we would have Zoom meetings and they would cut off, or whatever the case was. Some professors prefer Zoom recordings, while others actually do live Zoom live Zoom. And so I guess getting used to that and maintaining that same schedule, because I know sometimes it's easy to like slack off and be like, I'll watch that recording later during the week. But in reality, it catches up to you, which is not a good thing. I highly don't recommend that. But hopefully, at least for my department, for the civil engineering department at San Jose State, the fall semester is already declared to be online. And from what I know, the professors are already starting to get ready to prepare for that. So hopefully it's going to be a smoother transition. And you don't have to, they would be more organized in terms of how they want to approach the class. And I think another thing that I struggled with is like midterms online was a really big issue. A lot of them are using like ProctorU or Lockdown Browser. And even with these two softwares, there's a lot of, things that can occur during the time. So professors are still getting used to like, oh, I can't see the images during my final exam. Why can't I do that? So they're still trying to figure that out. So hopefully by, the fall semester, everything would be smoother.
That's pretty good. Anyone else?
So I had so the school as a whole, I guess, did a pretty good job of keeping transparency, kind of like keeping every day to day. Okay, this is what's going on. This is what we're moving towards. Eventually, if this happens, this is how it would happen. I kept getting bombarded by emails from the school president. The more like, I guess, class to class, it was kind of rocky, kind of shaky. Just like Julissa, I had professors who, they've been at the campus for a really long time. Technology is not their strong suit. So there was, in one class in particular, there was kind of a trade-off. The professor was like, asked another professor to kind of handle the course for them. So that just, created more confusion in an already like kind of stressful time. So, and you just got to roll with it, I guess. You gotta do what you can. Definitely stay on top of everything. Canvas for me was like my best friend, because it's the best. I guess it was like the go-to thing, because that's where everything was organized. That was, I had all my dates there. It's what kind of kept me on top of my stuff. But yeah, just kind of got to go with it. I had a professor who refused to record Zoom meetings, so you had to be there. If you weren't there, you missed out on the information. So it differs a lot. So you just gotta do what you can.
Just be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other experiences from that?
For me, my school kind of just let the professors do kind of whatever they wanted or whatever they saw fit. That kind of went completely the wrong direction. I had a lot of professors assigning more work than what they originally had on their syllabus. And they just kept changing it. And it got to the point where all the students kind of like, we just all exploded at one point. We were like, this is just not enough. And this is like maybe like halfway through the whole quarantine. So now, like, as we're in finals week now, so today's my last day. Once it got towards the end, they kind of like, okay, like we did too much, we should just like relax. So towards the end, they like figured it out, but they definitely went, I feel like they went the wrong direction in giving professors too much power, and not actually like restricting what they are, like how much assignments they can do, because it was like 6-7 assignments per day kind of thing, and it was not it was not feasible.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay, so different experiences, different places. Interesting. Next question. Do you feel that you were prepared to take on the workload prepared here at Kenyatta College when you transfer to the four-year institution, aside from the semester and quarter change? As far as the knowledge content, do you feel that you were prepared? You were a solid student?
I would say that I guess I would like kind of detach myself from the quant classes and go more for the qualitative classes. I would say that I was like very prepared. However, kind of like I guess with a lot of the classes that I've taken, they've all been on some kind of like weird curve that like deflates your grade or inflates it. So like there's like, especially STEM classes and the business classes, they're like really, they do some crazy stuff. So you can put in a lot of work for hours, think something's perfect, and still not get like the A+ that you thought you deserved. So kind of like monitoring like your stress with that stuff, because like just make sure you're giving all your effort, but at the same time, like don't kill yourself trying to be perfect, because it gets really annoying and really old really fast. So just trying to like have that dedicated friend group that can like keep you in check also, but also like really try to do your stuff as best as possible. But yeah, in terms of being prepared, I think I was prepared. I just think that the way things operate are definitely different.
Okay.
For my school, at least.
Awesome.
I can second that. At Berkeley, transferring there from Kenyatta, I had the same like experience as you, Tamar.
Anyone else?
See, I haven't felt the difference yet. If I'm being honest, it feels the same. I don't know, like the workload doesn't seem like it's more work than it was at Kenyatta. I mean, the material's definitely a step above, because yeah, I mean, it's harder, you're moving up as you go. But I mean, it's not, when I transferred, I was expecting a lot more difficulty. I was expecting a lot more. I kind of well, not psych myself out, but I kind of prepared myself. And when I transferred, I was doing school and then I was doing other stuff on top of that. So I was keeping myself very busy, but I was still handling it really, really well. So I think I'm not saying, oh, it's not hard. It's not. No, it's definitely hard. So definitely don't go in expecting light work, but don't psych yourself out so badly that you're like, oh, I might not be able to do this. It's definitely doable. Just keep yourself level-headed, I guess. I mean, we all have different majors. We all go through different work, but sometimes it feels like I'm still, I'm still at Kenyatta. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
I can second that. Just because it definitely feels like workload wise it's still the same, but I think it just depends on the class you're in and the professor you have, but other than that it feels the same.
So if there's anything that I say today that anyone remembers, it's this. This is like the thing that I wanted to say to everybody. I felt very well prepared to handle the workload at UCSD. I felt like Kenyatta did a really good job of building my like base knowledge, but with the support system that I had at Kenyatta. And when I came to UCSD, I didn't have that support system anymore. And because I was like trying to take it easy, not join too many clubs, not like do too many things to push my, like, because I wanted to try to focus on academics. Because I didn't go and join a ton of orgs, I didn't really get the like social involvement and support from other people and other students like I did have at Kenyatta. So that was really, really like a big struggle for me because I didn't realize how much I depended on my study groups, how much I depended on my friends to encourage me, on Sally to say, hey, where's your progress report? And so I would really, really encourage everyone to find a way to build the same support system. Well, not the same, but like a support system wherever you go because you're going to need it.
Awesome. Excellent insight. Excellent.
I can completely agree with Delilah. I think for me, that was one of the hardest part, especially finding, that study group. I highly, highly depended on study groups or just that study buddy. And then transferring to a school, it was like, okay, so no one really knows me. And those study groups are already kind of, for people that have been there for a while, they already have their own study group formed. So it's kind of like you have to break the ice and get out there and really get to know people. Another suggestion too is one of the things that I felt like I kind of did a mistake on was I underestimated certain classes. So for example, my engineering reports class, I was like, oh, I'm a decent writer. It shouldn't be too hard. So my first semester, I was actually taking 6 classes. And they were all like engineering courses or civil engineering courses. So it was definitely really tough on me because I underestimated the amount of time that these classes were going to take. So just because it might sound easy, the workload is a lot more. So don't underestimate that either.
I think adding on to that, like have your own study group is very important, especially, like for quarter system, the workload is the same, but then, it's shorter. It's like 10 weeks. So you have to take all of that in 10 weeks. And also you need to, think about the situation where you are put into, like for me, I have classes where I go to a lecture with 400 students. Like, you're not gonna have as much time as you thought that you can, spend with the professor because, there's just too many people. And so in this way, study group is even more important. So you can study with your friends afterwards.
I would say one other thing. I think I'm not sure how like other schools do like handle their majors and like non-major like courses. But I know for like my business major, we have to do like 12 units outside of the business school. And I would say like when I'm looking at some of those classes, I think like I read the name and I'm like, oh, that class might be easy. I'm going to take it just to take it and get the units. However, one of the things I found at these schools is that like the students inside the classes, like that's like their major and they're very passionate about the things that they're learning. So those essays are going to be like top notch compared to yours that you might not be as interested in the subject. So just know, just because it sounds easy, it probably will not be easy. So if you're going to take a course, make sure you're reading everything. You're trying to like build some kind of interest in it so you can still write that essay, take the test, and really show passion, even though it might not be, you might not be that interested in it.
All right. So we've got 10 minutes. And I guess this is the last question that I want to ask because we're going to transition to our other event. The last question is there anything, any piece of advice, any insight that you wish someone would have told you that you can share with the students? Is there something that's like, man, how come they didn't tell me that? Why didn't anybody tell me this? Anything pertaining to transfer.
Nobody ever told me to just like be nice to myself sometimes. And you really need to be nice to yourself sometimes because I feel like we all become successful by pushing ourselves and finding out where our limits are, where our boundaries are, how many units can I take, how many orgs can I be a part of. But you also need to realize that you're in a completely different environment. Your mental health might be suffering because you don't have your, well, okay, this is slightly different considering everyone is doing it online. Maybe not in the fall, but it's definitely going to be a different environment, and you're not going to have all the same comforts that you do now. So you just need to really give yourself a little bit of slack and not be mean to yourself if you're not reaching the same standards that you were before.
Anyone else?
I guess what I just want to say is actually listen to everybody at Kenyatta. I know Candace would always be like, you need to take time for yourself. You need to like, yeah, like she'd always just be like my mom kind of thing, you know, like she is amazing. I didn't really like, I listened, but it would just like kind of go in one ear, go out the other kind of thing. And just how hard it is to be independent. Because even at Kenyatta, you still have support. You have so much around you. And now that you're like out, it's like, okay, now what do I do? So definitely like listen.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, one thing I wish I did before is look at more than just like classes and the school. I didn't think about like the actual city. Like I've heard of Berkeley and I was like, yeah, Berkeley's probably really cool. I didn't think about like what it would actually be like to live in Berkeley and like a parking situation and like I looked at housing costs and stuff, but just like the spirit and culture of the campus and just like the city itself. I'm not saying I would choose differently, but it was a huge like shock to be in Berkeley and face certain challenges that I just like didn't even expect and know I would have to face just moving in that sense. Like it was that's like more logistical, and I think I was very like I have to pick a school that has the best classes, that I can go to graduate school and that has the professors who are researching what I want and blah blah blah. And I just like didn't think of logistical stuff like, do I like Berkeley? Do I want to live in Berkeley? Like, do I like what else about the school? Do I like the people? Do I like what like students are doing? Do I like other students I've met? Like, so yeah, that's.
Well, I did say that. Oh, but you know what? You're not a STEM major, so you never went to any of the STEM presentations. Right.
No, I didn't. And I think even if I went on a tour though, on a sunny day, I wouldn't get it. Like I would see a beautiful campus and I wouldn't get it. Maybe if I walked down Telegraph, I would like get tomorrow knows. Like I would get like maybe a small sense of it, but it's different when it's like, okay, you're living here now, it's 7 o'clock at night. You don't want to walk home 2 blocks because you just ran into somebody who got their backpack stolen at gunpoint in front of your apartment complex. And you're like, cool. And that's just like that week. You know, so they're really like things you just don't know and think about. And it's not necessarily like don't pick schools for certain reasons, but like just think about it and like it's okay to pick a school with that kind of challenge, but be prepared and know about it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, go ahead.
I can speak for that. So comparing to Chelsea, I'm like the exact opposite. Like I'm too much involved that, you know, it takes my study time away sometimes. So yeah, definitely study hard.
Yeah, I'll echo what Johnny said also. I also got really involved. It worked out, but like it was definitely, you know, balancing the time. It's kind of annoying. And also, I'm sure a lot of people told me this when I was at Kenyatta before I left, but like when I was there, I was really like focused on like getting the highest grade point average I could, like all day, every day. And that wasn't like the healthiest thing to do at Berkeley. And luckily I realized that kind of early on, or kind of like 2 months in, when I realized I was just in the library until 2 a.m. every night and it just wasn't healthy. Like when I kind of like try to like really reevaluate like what was important, what wasn't, and like what kind of balance I can find, I was a lot less stressed and I actually did better in my courses. So if you find yourself like really, really, really stressed about school and you just can't like detach yourself, try to like take like not too much of a break, but a little break so you can like think about like what level of like academics you want to like pursue right now, and then also like kind of make like key performance indicators for yourself and like what you like hope to achieve by like putting in this much effort. I don't know if that makes sense, but don't kill yourself over school in the short.
Well, we want to thank you all for being on this. So can we give them a round of applause? All right. And so before we go, we have a few plugs. So Sarita has something that she'd like to share. Go ahead, Sarita.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I have to say, well, I work at the STEM Center and I also work at the payroll department at Cañada. And I have to say, I admire each and all of you for all that you went through. And it seems hard, but you're tackling it. So really, I admire you all. I was curious and I told Renz that I was, because I work in the payroll department and I have seen your employment paperwork coming to me when you're employed at Cañada, and that's for the transfer students. I was curious, how do you get a job at the universities? So I sent an email to the universities and I got some response back, but not from everyone. So the three questions I asked them was about part-time employment for students, internships, and a point of contact about for a student organization similar to what we had at STEM Center. And so I noticed that every university is different. Some employment is done at each department. You have to go and ask for a job and then see if they have availability. Other places you can get a job at the STEM Center or internship in the career center. So I noticed every university has its own thing going on, and internship, employment, and clubs are housed in a different department. So I asked Renz if he can give you all my email address and I can share the details with you of what I found out. We have some contact people, so that will help you to connect when you go to the universities. So feel free to contact me anytime, okay? My email is my last name and my Lopez s@smccd.edu, and I'm here for you as much as all the STEM Center group. Thank you.
All right.
Also, the students that are at the schools currently, if you guys know the secret code about how to get jobs, let us know so we can tell students that are transferring to your schools on how to get hooked up.
All right, so then I have one last plug before I go. This is for non-STEM majors. It was Dr. Smith in social science. She wanted me to share this with non-STEM majors who are going to be here. I think we have 2 individuals. It's a T with social scientists. So this is going to be via Zoom Tuesday at 2:15 to 3:30. It's a 45 hour and 15-minute long presentation. So she wanted me to share this with you. If you're interested in attending, you can send me an email and I'll give you the flyer for you to join in. So thank you all for being here. I have to get off this to start the next campus reveal. All of you are invited. So if you guys could please attend, it'd be greatly appreciated. I'll see you all in 2 seconds.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
We love you.
Thank you. All right, let me stop this recording.